right, welcome to the Friday main event. Mike Molder here alongside my partner Lee Teat. Lee, this is the last show, number 6, Class 6A. We've done region previews for all the other classes. Hope you guys have tuned in. We've enjoyed doing it, Lee. But this is the big boys and a lot of changes in this class this year.
Ton.
I think they actually the classification remained at 50 teams, but there was a big shift in. I think there's 23 teams on the east side of the state. That's down from 28 last year. So we got a lot fatter on the west side and a lot leaner on the east side.
We did, and there's 37 teams this year in different regions.
Wow. 37. That's crazy, isn't it? And there, we'll see as we go through this, Lee. There's regions that are completely. Every team is different from what it was last year, and that was more predominant, I think, in the West than in the East. But we'll cover all that and cover all the teams. We'll talk returning players. We'll talk region projections, and we'll talk new coaches.
Correct.
So, having said all that, Lee, I guess if you are ready, we'll go ahead and roll right in.
Let's roll with it.
To Region 1. And Region 1, I feel, is probably going to be controlled by the same team that controls this region quite often, Lee. What's your thoughts?
I do. I think Dobbins Bennett, hands down, right now is the odds-on favorite in Region 1. Coach Christian's done a good job over there. It's 10-3 last year, lost in the quarterfinals to a solid Maryville squad.
Close game.
By a touchdown.
Yep.
He's got sophomore tailback coming back in Baker. Sexton coming back, Evans, Shearer, Gillespie, and Bergeron, is coming back. So I like DB, man. I like DB in Region 1.
Region 1 is kind of got a facelift, Lee. They lost Farragut, they lost Bearden, lost Hardin Valley, lost Morristown West. They gained Morristown East, a new team, West Ridge, which is made up of a lot of the Sullivan teams.
Right.
They also gained William Blunt.
That's right.
And, of course, William, as we mentioned in our 5A show, West Ridge petitioned to move up. And oddly enough, I'm kind of shocked at this. William Blunt petitioned the TWSWA to move over to Region 1. I wonder why that is.
Yeah.
You think they're trying to get away from Maryville?
I would.
I would too. But that is kind of surprising, though, that they would move over to 1, considering they're right there in the backyard with a lot of other teams. But I don't blame them. I agree with you, Lee. I'd probably do everything I could to get away from Maryville as well. So you like Dobbins Bennett at 1. I'm thinking Stacy Carter's Science Hill team would probably be the Hilltoppers, would be the odds-on to take that second spot with the 7-4, 4-2. Of course, they did have to take that COVID loss as one of several teams over in East Tennessee that were forced to take COVID loss in the first round.
Yep.
So I know those kids are anxious to get back playing football this year.
Yeah, I like Coach Carter over there at Science Hill. I think he does a good job. Always got a lot of talent over there. Speaking of, he's got Diamond back, Sutton is back, Fleeman's back, Torbett, Brock, Riddle, Martin, Hensley. All those kids we just named off, Mike, are all seniors.
Okay.
Except for Hensley. I think he's a junior.
Veteran team
coming back. Definitely a playoff contender. I like his out-of-region schedule.
That's tough. It's brutal.
Elizabeth and Anderson, Maryville, Daniel Boone, and Powell.
He ain't dodging,
No,
is
he's not dodging. They're going to be playoff ready when they get there.
Oh, yeah, if they're healthy.
So I like that.
But they're deep, so, you know, they got a lot of kids back.
I like it.
One of the new teams moved up from 5A to 6A, Morristown East Lee, Caleb Slover, 5-5, 3-3, 48-7 lost to Knox Central there in the first round last year. The Hurricanes have got some kids back, Lee.
They do. They got Micah Simpson back, Everett's back, Woodard's back, Malone, Turner, Ledford, Seals, and Hanson's back. So Coach Slover, man, he might make a little push here.
I'm anxious to see what Justin Hilton does with this West Ridge team. Now, it's combined Sullivan Central North, and of course his former team Sullivan South, which I thought he done a great job coaching. You know, he was going up against Greenville and Elizabethton every year, and they had a solid program every year. I thought that was a really good pick to lead this new program. So I'm anxious to see how this team does.
Me too. Is Bergeron? We had him at DB, Dobbins Bennett, but did he transfer over
That's a
to
good
West
question.
Ridge?
That's a good question. Maybe.
I got him on that
I
list.
got him on both teams, don't I, Lee?
Yeah, he can't play two places, Mike.
That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe he did.
Superhero.
Maybe he did move over. That's my bad. I didn't catch that, man. But where I get these kids at typically is off of huddle accounts. So that was either one of two things. It was a goof up on my part, or he transferred.
Right.
I don't know which is which.
Well, anyways, they got McGee back.
Yeah.
They got Ratliff, McLean, Stanley, Hunter Stanley, and Carson Stanley's back. Peyton Green, Scal, Fletcher, and Flanagan all coming back at West Ridge. Or well, I say coming back.
Yeah.
Returning starters at whatever team they were on.
We're on one of those other three teams, right?
So they got some experience. So
Yeah.
it's be interesting.
It's kind of interesting to see how they gel. You
yes,
know,
absolutely.
it may be like what was that? Remember the Titans? And it may be one of those deals where the kids that were used to playing against each other, there may be some initial adversity as they compete for the same positions.
Yeah, well, now they get to go beat up on some other people, though.
Yeah, that's true. It'll be kind of interesting to see how all those former rivals come together as a team, though.
Absolutely.
I hadn't thought about that aspect of it, but Coach Hilton's a good coach. I'm sure he put a good staff together, so I'm sure they'll have that under control. William Blunt, the Governor's Lee, our buddy Coach Philip Shadowins. Some people like to say Shadowins. He told me it was Shadowins. I'll go along with that.
Right.
4-6, 1-5 last year. Missed out on postseason play. Eli Turner back. They got Jonah Lee back at tackle. Alker back at wide receiver. Williams at running back. Staley at guard. Franklin at wide receiver. Owen at cornerback. A lot of kids back on this Governor squad, Lee, and we are talking about a 6-team region. Do you see them squeaking in, maybe competing for that third, fourth spot?
I do. I think they can compete for it. I think they're going to pick up a couple more wins this year. I do.
Jefferson County, Spencer Riley, former UT Vol Lee, with the Patriots, 0-10 last year, 0-6 in region play. Do they any improvement out of the Patriots? What's your thoughts?
Man, I feel bad for Coach Riley, but I just can't see it, man. I can't see any movement, buddy.
Can't see any movement. So recapping, we like DB, Science Hill competing for the top spot, kind of wide open for the other three and four spots.
Yep, I do.
Sounds good to me, Lee. Let me swap my screen, my friend, because I tend to forget to do that quite often as we've done these 6 shows. About half the time I forget. But there's no need in really putting the screen up on this one because you'd have to be living under a rock the last 20 years if you don't have the Maryville Rebels favored to win this region too. Would you agree with that, Lee?
Absolutely.
Now, this region lost William Blunt, McMinn County, Ooltewah, Heritage. Some of these teams moving down to 5A. Of course, William Blunt, as we saw, over to Region 1. They gained Farragut. I think Farragut was in Region 1 last year, were they not? So they kind of swapped spots, which doesn't even make any sense at all. Bearden and Hardin Valley are additions to this. This went from a 17 to a 16 region as well. So that's where you saw 2 of the teams migrating out of the east side of the state to the west side as far as numbers go.
Correct.
Maryville Rebels, Lee, talk about what they got coming back for Coach Derek Hunt's team.
I think you're going to see a lot more of the same out of the Maryville Rebels. Coach Hunt's, 54-4 in 4 years, semifinal team last year. Do they go west this year, or is we go east?
I think you go to Maryville this year. You're talking about for the semifinals?
Semifinals, I believe that's right.
Odd number of years you go to odd. So if they get there as most expect, then they would host a semifinal game.
That's correct.
And as history has shown, the team that hosts the semifinal, obviously we're talking about Maryville and Oakland because that's the two teams that are in there every year. Home team has won that game.
I think so. Well, anyways, like I said, I think you're going to see more of the same. I
Yeah.
think Zach Braden's back at linebacker. Carson Jones is back. DJ Burks is back. Hunter Ogle's back. Johnson, Vaughn, Jackson Phillips, Abdella, Fortenberry, Grubbs, Scott, Sal Chateau, um, Caleb Graham.
I don't think they had Lee, but maybe I'm thinking like two senior starters last year. So almost their entire starting lineup on
Is
both
back.
sides of the ball is back.
It'll be a good matchup. I'd like to see them and Powell square up. That's going to be a good out-of-region game right there.
Yeah.
They got West as well.
And then
And
obviously they always have
Alcoa.
Alcoa,
Right.
Science Hill. Yeah, 49-7. They got smacked pretty good by Oakland last year. But like you just mentioned, if that is the expected semifinal game, it does travel up to Maryville this year.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? I mean, you cannot ever count a Rebel team out, despite the fact we think Oakland's going to be, a force again this year.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want to have to pick that game right now.
No.
Bradley Central Lee, we like Coach Floyd's team at second, or competing for second. I think is about, there's several good teams in this region.
Absolutely.
I think you'd have to include Farragut. You'd have to include our buddy Marty Wheeler's Cleveland team that kind of came on, caught fire there at the end of the year. They pushed Dobbins Bennett hard there.
7 points.
Yeah, in the playoffs, and they battled to reach the playoffs. They had to win their last game to get there. So I think Farragut, Cleveland, and Bradley are going to be competing for that 2 spot. But right now we've got 8-4, 4-2 Central team at the 2 spot. What are your thoughts on what they have coming back this year?
Got Eddie McCall coming back, and they've also got Carter Howard is back, and you got Gabe Campbell is back, Brody Morgan. All those guys I just mentioned are big linemen.
Yeah,
we like that offensive line play. It's got McClary back, as a QB. Carter Clayton's back, so. Hey, Coach Floyd has got plenty of kids returning off the 8-4 team. He's got seems like some good senior leadership up front. Yeah, I think they're competing for the 2.
Cleveland Blue Raiders. Our good buddy Marty Wheeler over there at Cleveland, 9-12 in his 2 years there at Cleveland, and he's 108-67 with several extremely successful seasons there over in Covington before coming over to Cleveland. He kind of stepped into a program in need of change, and he's in the midst of that change right now. Lee, he's brought in a lot of new coaches. They kind of caught fire there at the end of the year, and like we said, they pushed a good Dobbins Bennett team. Mike should have won that game. They were right there at the end, leading the game. I think there in the fourth quarter. Talk a minute about Nicodemus and some of those other kids he's got back.
Yeah, he's speaking of offensive lineman, he's got a 6'6", 310 tackle in Nicodemus. He's got Blaine Lowe at the QB spot. He's got Destin Thomas coming back as a wide receiver. Tate O'Brien, Tito Boyd, a really good tailback he's got. And then Drew Lambert, Lamar Anders, Micah Jordan, Leo Palele. One thing about Coach Wheeler, and I think this year, I think you're going to see a better push from him because I think he's finally got settled in. And I think his coaching staff has kind of settled down a little bit. I think they're used to each other now. And I think they're going to make a push, buddy. I really do.
So you like them at the 2, taking Bradley?
I think they're going to be competing. I think Bradley's...
That's their biggest competition right there is Bradley, not only on the
Farragut.
field but for players.
Yes, absolutely.
They got a lot of the same kids who are trying to get into the programs. I mean, I'm not saying they're recruiting, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, they're just right down the street from each other.
Yeah, exactly.
I like Coach Wheeler. I think he can get the 2 spot, but he's going to have very tough battles with Farragut and Central.
Speaking of which, Farragut, the Admirals, Eddie Courtney, man, no stranger to postseason play himself, 185 and 105 in his 25 years there at Farragut, 7-4, 5-1. got upset by Bradley Central in the first round. That was
Mm-hmm.
the first time Bradley had beaten Farragut in a long time
Mm-hmm.
to get that win. So Farragut's going to be coming back with a vengeance, and they got some big players back, man. Dawson Moore
Yeah.
leading the way at quarterback. This kid is a stud, absolutely stud.
Mm-hmm.
Over 2,000 yards passing, 27 TDs to only 6 interceptions. Really, what I like about that, Lee.
That's right. And he's got my favorite, Moose Lurie, back at running back.
Yeah.
Heck of a name. I remember what was the dude for the Cowboys, Moose
Johnson.
Johnson.
Yeah.
His fullback.
Yep.
Yeah, he was leading the way for Emmett for a while.
Right. Right.
Then you got Landis Davila back, Ben Reed. So Farragut's got plenty of players, man, and they're very well coached. You know, if you go up against Coach Courtney team, they're coached very well.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
So I think this 2, 3, 4 spot, man, is going to be.
It's a coin flip.
Flip it.
That's what I'm thinking as well. Bearden actually had a good season last year. I think they dealt with some COVID issues in that I think they had some kids that had to miss some games because of contact tracing. But they were 4-2 in region play last year, Lee. And Coach Schindler, he's 34-42 overall in his 7 years there at Bearden. Bulldogs, I think, are going to have a pretty good team as well. They got some pretty good kids back.
Yep, they got Carlevato back. Britton is back. Alvarez is back. Close back. Lovett, Parker Smith, Oros, Ironside, and then Ranya's back. So, yeah, they got some kids, man.
They could potentially get up in the mix for that 3-4 spot also. Hardin Valley, Mike Potter, 6-14 in his 2 years at Hardin Valley, 2-8, 2-4 in region play. Ryan Nichols at running back, Connor Clark, Joshua Swafford, Ty Gentry at DB wide receiver, Ty Denton. A lot of kids back for Hardin Valley. I think this is going to be a contested region. So region 2, obviously we got Maryville out front, but I think there's a lot of room for movement for a lot of different teams here in region 2.
Too.
All right, Mr. Teat, let's move on to region 3. And how we doing on time? We're doing all right on time.
Yeah, we're good.
We're doing good. Region 3, Lee.
This is a weird one.
There's a lot of teams, I think, in Region 3 that are tickled to death they're in Region 3. And the reason why I say that, for instance, Cookeville, Warren County, Coffee County, they were all in that Rutherford County gauntlet,
Right.
with Oakland and Riverdale and Blackman and all those really good Rutherford County teams. Well, these 3 teams, they kind of got to get out a free card in this reclassification. They're actually in a region that they have a chance to compete in. And Shelbyville, I think, we've got them at the 1 spot, Lee, because I think had they not gotten into they had the COVID forfeit against Summit last year. They had a chance to compete for that region title last year. And then they got into the brawl at Franklin County. But I think had those things not happened, young Caden Cunningham might would have led this team to some pretty successful postseason play.
I think so, man. And we know what Coach Puckett's made of. He's a tough-minded guy. Man, he's got Caden Puckett back. That's his son, a really good athlete. Of course, you just mentioned Cunningham's back now as a senior, 3-year starter. Gallimore, Donegan, Edson, Emmons, Harper, House, and Trice all coming back. But one thing I like about Shelbyville's out of region schedule, I know they're 6A, but man, they're playing a tough Tullahoma team. They're playing Riverdale, Hendersonville, and Summit. That's pretty good out of region, buddy.
Oh yeah, and prayers out to Caden Puckett. I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but he's had
some COVID complications.
He's had some serious complications from COVID. And,
Absolutely.
He's been on restrictions. It's just something real rare. It's just one out of so many kids or so many people in general that get stricken with COVID. I don't know all the details, so I'm not going to try to go into it, but we're just hoping that he's going to be able to play this year. he's really struggling with this stuff, Lee. It's pretty serious. It's
Yeah, it is.
pretty serious stuff.
Well,
So
it just keeps things in perspective, Mr. Puckett. You're gonna be fine. Just keep things in perspective, brother.
super good kid, man. Super great athlete. He was. I've said it before. He was one of the main reasons why they won that state title
Oh
there in
yeah,
Lake County a
we had a
couple years
big
ago.
pick right there.
But he's a great kid, great family, and I hope to goodness that everything works out and he's
Right.
able to play his senior year. That would just be tragic if he doesn't get to finish out his high school career. So
Mm-hmm.
I'm hoping you make it there, son. We're definitely rooting for you. Lebanon Blue Devils lead Chuck Gentry, your buddy, big
Mm-hmm.
buddy of yours, 5-5, 1-4. Another team, I'm sure. They're getting away from the Mount Juliets and some of the other teams they were contending with.
Yep.
So I think this region draw was a godsend for some of these teams.
I do too.
What do you think about the Blue Devils?
I think Coach Gentry. I don't know if you saw on some of his social media, but man, they got a new indoor facility over there with a new weight room and stuff. It's a beautiful complex, and I think he's gonna put it to good use. He's got Hayden Rigsby back, Eli Freeman, Brody Hall, Brown, um, Contez Logue is back, and Fisher Bradshaw and Jared Hall. Um, he's got a nice little quarterback too that was young last year. Is coming back, an athlete. Um, I think Coach Gentry could push for a region title right here. I do.
Yeah, I think this region, like I said, is wide open.
I think he can.
Warren County, Matt Turner had a heck of a year last year. He had a Mr. Football candidate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'll be darned if I can remember the kid's name. He was
Oh man,
I think he actually won the Mr. Football.
yeah,
did he
he
not?
was everything for them.
Sorry, folks, I'm getting old. Names I forget, but I'm sure that's going to be tough to overcome his loss. But for Warren County, for a program, that was super huge.
Yes.
For them to have some success at 8-3, they've had so many years of down, success. And I was really happy. Matt Turner's done a great job, man. 12-9 in 2 years of turning things around there for the Pioneers. I tried to get in touch with him last year. I was going to try to get him on the show, and I didn't have any luck. So, Coach Turner, shoot me an email, man. We'd love to talk to you here on the Friday main event. But Lee, again, this is another team. The kids got a little taste of success last
Correct.
year. Who knows what's going to happen with the Pioneers this year?
Well, winning breeds winning, buddy.
They've got a great facilities, great program over there. I love their. I've been to their stadium before, so they're set up for success. Cookville, Lee,
Yes.
The Cavaliers, another good friend of yours, Coach Jimmy Maynard, good friend of mine. 233 and 117 overall, 54-36 in his 8. Damn, it doesn't seem like he's been there for 8 years, does it? Of course, he had that great run at Smith County, and now at Cookville, 6-4 last year. Lee, they did miss the playoffs for the first time in a long time. Maybe the first time since he's been there.
I can't remember the last time he didn't make the playoffs.
Me neither.
As a coach.
Yeah, me neither. So talk about what he's got coming back.
He's got Cade Apple coming back, Trip Wallace, Donovan Sullivan, Seth Kincaid, Evan Whited, Clayton Barrett, and then Aki Danuwu. I can't remember.
I'm glad to see you struggle with one. That makes me feel a little better. I'm not even going to try it.
Yeah. But I'll tell you what, man. X's and O's. X's and O's. This region right here is wide open, and I think X's and O's, man, Coach Maynard, hard to beat.
Coffee County had a much improved year last year, Lee. 4-5, 2-4, and again they were in that tough region with all those Rutherford County teams, and I'm sure they are glad to get that reprieve and get moved over here to Region 3 with other teams that they should be competitive with. The Raiders has got a good following, good fan base over there. Of course, they got that big coffee pot game with Tullahoma. They got Franklin County still on the schedule, Page, Spring Hill, Rockville, Ray County. So, I think Heaton there at running back, Shimwell at quarterback. He had 981 yards passing, 7 TDs. So they got experience in the backfield.
Mike, I like this region.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be very competitive.
I do too. I do too. It's not a real clear-cut favorite, I
No,
don't think, at all.
I
And
think
not even to win it.
yeah, I think it's going to be a really good, hard-fought region.
We like Shelbyville, but I can see, potentially 3 or 4 teams that could win this region.
Right.
In this region, it's wide open.
Yep.
All right, Lee. Let's move on down to Region 4.
Let's talk brutality here.
Brutality. You know a little bit about this region, don't you, son?
Yes, sir.
We've got this may be a bit of a shocker to some folks, Lee, but we've got the Oakland Patriots favored to win this region.
They say it's a brand new region. It isn't all, but it's got some natural rivals.
Yeah, it does, and when you say brand new region, really that just means Stewart's Creek's new because you got. It's a new region in that most of these teams were in Region 3.
Correct.
So the new Region 4 is all new teams. You're right as far as that goes. But these are former region competitors.
Yes.
For the most part, except for Stewart's Creek. Stewart's Creek was in 5. These other teams were in 3. So now they moved into 4.
Correct.
I don't know. I don't get some of these classification
This
decisions.
is basically just Rutherford County.
But this made sense here, though.
Absolutely. This is Rutherford County.
This was good for Stewart's Creek.
Absolutely, it's good for Stewart's Creek.
Yeah,
Coach
that's going to
Caudill.
help them at the gate a lot.
A ton.
Oakland, Lee, Kevin Creasy, in my opinion, as good as anybody in the state, maybe the best in the state. This guy just wins wherever he's at. He had 3 state titles at Trousdale. I think he's had, is it 3 now at Oakland? It's 2 or 3. I'm losing track, but man, the guy just wins wherever he's at. He's 81-6 in 6 years at Oakland, and I would say, I don't know right off the top of my head, but I'd bet 4 of those losses were to Maryville, wouldn't you?
I think 3 to 4 are to Maryville, 1's to Hoover.
Yeah.
And I forget the other.
Yeah, he don't lose very often. 15-0 last year.
Oh, Whitehaven.
Whitehaven.
That's
right.
his 6
in
losses.
The title game. That's right. He should have won that one.
That's right.
Sorry, Coach, but you would agree if you was honest. 56-33. 56-33 lost to Brentwood. Win over Brentwood there in the title game. He's just loaded again, Lee. Just so many kids you're gonna be playing on Saturday next year. Talk about some of the kids back on this team.
Well, okay, a kid that gets overshadowed, I think, personally, is Antonio Patterson. This kid is an absolute stud.
Yeah.
Tailback. He had 1,242 yards and 17 TDs last year. Then you look right next to you in the backfield, and you got Jordan James, who's a Georgia commit. This kid went for 1,752 and 26 touchdowns. Okay, you want to stop the run? Isaiah Horton's out wide. He's about 6'4", 215, 220.
He catches anything in his
and
neighborhood.
throws any ball that is in his neighborhood, it's his.
Yep.
He's number 18 rated senior. You got Chase Lilly coming back, McGee, Chandler Lilly. Now they got a Steven Ellison. He's a sophomore. He was a freshman last year. This kid is phenomenal. He's got a huge upside. Eric Taylor, Caleb Cole, Theron Gaines. I mean, defensive tackle might be one of the best in the state right there. Ethan McLaurin's back, 96 tackles, 15 for loss. And then Caleb Herring, number 2 rated junior linebacker. So Coach Creasy's got a full house.
Yeah, I think Coach Jackson's got, I believe Coach Creasy told us in that title game, he's got everybody back but one kid, I think, off that defense
That's
last
right.
year.
And that was, what's his name? Was so good.
Lyman, I know the guy, my favorite player, I can't think of his name. But anyway, they're totally eat up. Skilled players, they're eat up. Going to have to find a new quarterback. Lost their quarterback. But yeah, I mean, they're our number 1 team preseason. I know they got to get that road game to Maryville. Got to get that monkey off their back. So like we mentioned earlier when we was talking about Maryville, the home team seems to win every game between those two. It doesn't vie well for Kevin Creasy, considering if he gets to the semifinals, he goes to Maryville this year. But He may have enough talent this year that it's going to be. Doesn't matter where that game's at.
Well, one thing too I like is on his schedule. He's got Madison Ridgeland Academy out of Mississippi. That's the number 2 rated team in Mississippi. They were undefeated last year, and he's also got a team coming out of Florida.
Wow.
He goes to Mississippi, and he's got a team coming up from Florida.
He goes to South Pitt.
Yes, and South Pittsburgh.
That's crazy. I couldn't believe that when South Pitt picked that game up. But that shows you right there. Coach Jones isn't scared to play anybody either. But
that's right.
Oakland, defending 6A champs, traveled down to South Pitt.
Yep.
I may go to that game, Lee, just for the atmosphere.
It'll be a great atmosphere.
It'd be a great atmosphere, and it'd be good for those kids. I think Coach Creasy's kids to see what small-time football is like, down there in that atmosphere.
Oh, it's one of the best.
It's one of the best. Riverdale Lee, we got them at number 2, but if anybody's going to compete with Oakland this year, it's going to be Will Kreisky's Riverdale Warriors. They've got a lot of good talent.
Yes, they do.
On that team. Talk about them for a minute.
Well, they got Mitchell, linebacker. They got Herring, who's the number 22 recruit in the state, 6'3", 215. Coach Holcomb's son.
Yep.
The junior this year.
I talked to Kelly on the radio the other day, Lee. He's pretty excited about this year. Talk about the offensive coordinator there.
Right. I think if Jameson can stay healthy, I know he had a hand issue last year. Maybe had that surgery.
He's good to go now.
And then, man, Brandon Kennard is a good tailback. And Marcus Lloyd. Riverdale's got plenty of athletes.
That's what Kelly said. That was thunder and lightning right there.
So they've got a good 1-2 punch back there. They got a good linebacker core. They're very physical. We know Coach Kreisky. He's going to always come at you. He's going to play you hard.
Yep.
They're
going to be tough. They're going to be competitive. They will compete with Oakland.
They're going to be very tough.
Guarantee it.
Very tough.
They played Oakland as close as anybody last year, losing in that quarterfinal 39-14.
Well, I think they're the one team that's athletic enough.
And I tell you, Lee, I was at that game actually, and going into halftime, Riverdale were within a score, and the wide receiver for Oakland, Horton. I think everybody knew they were going to throw a Hail Mary to Horton there in the end of the half. And sure enough, they threw it up in the corner of the end zone. They had 2 or 3 people on him, and he just went above everybody and pulled it in. There just wasn't anything they could do.
That's right.
But, that's how close the game was going into halftime. Blackman, Lee, new head coach. Chandler Tiger takes over for Kid Hartsfield, who went down to Mount Pleasant. He coached most recently at North Jackson. He's also coached at Ravenwood and Notre Dame here in Tennessee. I think that was a good hire.
I think so. I think it's bringing a little life to the program over there, but I think you're going to see a different style of play.
Yeah.
Coach Tygard likes to wing that thing around and put it in the air, so I think you're going to see a little bit more wide open style of play.
Talk about some of the kids they got back, Lee.
Well, he's got Simbering back as a QB, but he's also got a sophomore QB that's pretty good, I think, coming up. And then you got Fuller Elmore, Henderson's back, Charles Gaunt, Dyson Bell, Cole Reed, Dowdy, Carson, and Jalen Pleasant.
So they're going to be in the mix as well, you think?
Absolutely.
And a team that you're familiar with, your son played for Stewart's Creek last year. Coach Caudill, talk about the Red Hawks and what do you think they got coming into the new region here in Region 4?
I think that Coach Caudill was a good hire, great hire for Stewart's Creek, man. I think he's starting to get his feet on the ground a little bit. Last year for a first-year head coach, dealing with COVID and trying to generate funds and get facilities back, and it was
tough way to
start your career out, man. So a 5-5, 4-2 region was pretty doggone good, if you ask me.
Yeah.
He does have the best kicker in the country, Upton Belafont. I mean, he's literally I think he's number 3 rated in Coles and number 2 in one other one.
Yeah.
He can literally, Silas grew up with him in the same neighborhood. He can literally put it through the uprights from about 67.
Wow.
I mean, he has a leg.
And of course they had to forfeit that COVID loss to Ravenwood in the first round. So despite 4-2 in the region play, they didn't get an opportunity to play in the postseason.
So he's a legit kicker. He's a game changer. He's going to touch back every time. And if you get in late in the game and you need a deep kick, he's going to hit it for you. The one kid that don't get a lot of attention over there is Gabe Walker, their tailback.
Yeah.
He's very physical runner, very physical, and he's a good athlete. So
almost 1,000 yards last year, 11 TDs.
He's very physical. So I like Stewart's Creek, man. I think they're going to be all right.
We keep thinking Rick Rice is going to get things going there at Rockville, and this may be when he gets it done. Lee, this is in year 3.
Mm-hmm.
It's a new program, and he's got everything in place. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind Rick Rice is one of the best coaches around anywhere. He had a lot of success down there at Wayne County. So I'm sure, he's now got his offensive and defensive philosophy in place. They've had 2 years under his tutelage going into the 3rd year.
Mm-hmm.
He's got a ton of kids back because it was a new program. So a lot of these kids are actually playing maybe 3-year starters.
That's correct.
So what do you think Rockville does this year?
I think they're vying for the 4th spot. I do. I think they're competing for it. I think they're not going to be 1-7.
Yeah.
I think they're going to get some wins. Like you said, he's got so many returning juniors and seniors, it's hard to even name them all off.
Yeah, right.
But I think Coach Rice is going to be okay.
They're at Laverne, at Smyrna. They have Lincoln County, Nolensville, and Coffee County on the schedule. So I think potentially 2 or 3 non-region wins,
Yes.
and then if they can pick up a couple of region wins, then we're talking possibly 500 ball.
That's right.
Siegel Stars, Lee, Adam Renshaw, in his 2nd year there at Siegel. Of course, he coached with our buddy Marty Wheeler over there at Cleveland before coming over here.
Mm-hmm.
He's a former head coach at Dyer County, so he's got a good coaching pedigree. 1-9 in his 1st year there at Siegel. In a tough region, so
Brutal.
It's still in a tough region. I don't know. I know they compete for kids with a lot of the other Rutherford County programs. Excuse me, and I don't know if there's any upward movement available here in this region for the Stars.
Don't see it, man.
All right, Lee, let's move on down to Region 5. Region 5, another region that we're seeing a lot of movement as far as different teams.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, Lee, I think this is another region in which every team is new to this region. A lot of them are moving up from 5A.
Mm-hmm.
This region does go from a 17 to a 16 region, but every team in this region was in a different region last year. Now, again, it may be lateral movements, it may be moving up, but not the same. We like Beach in this region, Lee, and it's hard to argue with Coach Crabtree and the success he's had. 146 and 52 in 16 years there at Beach with state titles. What do you think about Buccaneers?
I like Beach at the 1 in Region 5. I do. I like them a lot. One of the reasons is Patrick Hill, Bronco Hanks, Andrew Page, Tyler Nix, Keene, Sorensen. I mean, he's got a bunch of kids coming back. And the thing about Coach Crabtree is he always has good line play, and they always want to run the football, and they do it very well.
Oh, yeah.
And anytime you can run the football and you play solid defense, you can win games, and it's proven in his record. I like them, buddy.
Farragut, Henry County, they travel to Summit, they travel to Springfield, and they travel to Brentwood.
That's right.
So he's I wouldn't consider this the hardest 6A region. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's not the hardest, I don't think. But he's compounded that with a really, really tough non-region schedule.
That's exactly right. He ain't ducking.
He ain't ducking. Hendersonville, Lee, James Beasley is 22 and 14. He went undefeated last year, won the region title, and I think it was Region 6. I think he was in last. No, it wasn't Region 6. What was it? Anyway, he won the region last year. Yeah, but it might have been. I don't remember. I think it was Region 6. I believe that is. No. It had to have been. It had to have been Region 6. Or was it 4? See, yeah, he was in with Mount Juliet.
Region
4. Okay. Sorry, folks. Kind of got sidetracked.
Region 4.
But, yeah, 5-0. They got knocked out by Riverdale 27-14 in the second round last year. Moving over to Region 5. Talk about Coach Beasley's squad, what he's got coming back, Lee.
kind of the same scenario, Mike. He's going to run the football. Plays good, solid defense. He's got Ryan Oden back, Prince Vance back, Ellis is back, Luke Manning, Kyle Duvall, Stephen Mack, and then Jameson Morton's coming back. And he's got a pretty good out-of-region schedule as well. Oakland, South Warren, Kentucky, Ravenwood. So
Shelbyville.
And Baylor. So he's playing.
I didn't know they traveled to Shelbyville. That's a pretty long little drive right there.
Yep.
Interesting. Gallatin, our buddy Chad Watson over there, done a really good job with the Green Wave.
Moving up.
13, moving up to 6A. 13-9 in 2 years at Gallatin. They were 4-7 last year, 4-1 in region play.
Mm-hmm.
21-14. They lost to Columbia there in the first round. Talk a minute about Green Wave, Lee. What do you think Coach Watson's squad is going to do?
Well, they kind of had a little up and down season last year. All their wins were in region. That's a good thing.
Picked up some COVID wins, I think, as well.
Yeah, so it was kind of an up and down season for him. I think he'll get everything kind of settled back down this year. But he's got Trey Gentry, Cardoza's back, Phillips is back, Owens, Zach Johnson, Cash Boone, Jaron Nevels, and then DeAndre and Sullivan is back. So I like Green Wave. Make a little noise in this region.
They got Mount Juliet, Blackman, Station Camp, Cookville, and Lebanon.
Mm-hmm.
Currently, we're showing them at the 3-spot, Lee. Clarksville, the Wildcats, Isaac Shelby squad, 61 and 63 overall. He's 33-42 in his 7 years there at Clarksville, his alma mater. 5-5 last year, 3-3. They kind of came on at the end and played pretty good football, Lee. Got into the postseason, made it to the second round. But I think they made it to the second round. If I remember, they might have had a first round forfeit. Does that sound right?
Or a bye.
Can't remember.
Because
because of the COVID stuff. What do you think the Wildcats? You see them as a playoff team?
I'll be honest with you, Mike. I think it's going to be the 4 spot is going to come down between Clarksville and Rossview, I think.
Think so?
Mm-hmm.
I can see that.
I do.
Bagatini back at running back,
Yep.
Geringer at quarterback, Carnell at running back, Cobbs at running back, Allen split back.
Yep.
A lot of juniors as
right.
returning players, Lee. So
Yep.
that's always a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
Rossview, you mentioned them, the Hawks. Todd Hood, 67 and 51 overall, 5-4 overall last year, 3-2 in region play. Got knocked out by Oakland, got shut out by Oakland in the first round, but you can't read a lot into that. Kirkpatrick back at wide receiver, Kitchen at linebacker, Burns at wide receiver, Phillips at running back, and then Bradley at linebacker. And you think they compete for the 4th spot?
I do. I think they're competing for the 4.
And that leaves West Creek, the Coyotes, Figueroa, 12 and 37 in his 5 years there at West Creek. They didn't win a region game, 2-7 in overall. What do you feel about the Coyotes?
Well, one thing that concerns me is they graduated a ton of seniors.
Yeah.
West Creek did off of I don't know. That might be a good thing off a 2-7 squad, but it does concern me a little.
Yeah.
They got Blanton coming back, Mahogany's back, Pace, Richardson, Roberson, Fuller, and Honeycutt. Out of region, got Northeast, Northwest, Kenwood. This is all Clarksville teams, which you should be playing out of region and get some gate.
Yeah.
I just don't see any movement, Mike.
Yeah, I don't either, Lee. I think they may pick up a couple more wins. I see some region game or non-region games they may potentially pull out. Moving on down to Region 6, Lee. I guess the recap of that one, we like Beach, Hendersonville, and Gallatin all fighting it out for that 1, 2, and 3 spot. Moving down to Region 6 now, Mr. Teat. And we like our buddy over at Cane Ridge to take this region. Of course, we're talking about Eddie Woods, the guy we've been putting in as a potential UT head coach the last few years.
Right.
He was one of those Metro coaches, Lee, that this COVID stuff really hurt. I thought He had a loaded squad last
Oh,
year,
it killed him.
and I think the lack of practice and missing so many games really hurt the Ravens really bad. 3-4, 3-1 in region play. Were knocked out by Brentwood in the first round, but I think had this COVID stuff not hit us last year, we would have been talking about this as a quarterfinal team.
I absolutely believe that. Well, he did graduate a ton of talent.
Yeah.
He did, but he's got Gaston back. That's a senior linebacker, is a stud. Good Lowe's back, good running back he's got. And he's got Davis back, Lathion Johnston back, Larry Lockett's back, Levante Sutton, Malik Campbell. The good news for Cane Ridge is they kind of just reload.
Yeah.
And Coach Woods is a good enough coach that he's going to see what he's good at. That's what he's going to focus on. And he definitely ain't ducking anybody.
Got big Mose Phillips over there on staff.
Right.
Saw Mose, man, on Facebook the other day. That dude's lost some weight, man. He's trimmed down.
Yeah.
I saw him had a picture of him and the new head coach over there at UT together. He put his stamp of approval on the Heupel. So,
Yeah.
but Big Mo slimming down, man. Yeah. Looking good, Mo. Lee Smyrna Bulldogs. Matt Williams 8-4, 6-0. 6-0, yeah, 6-0 last year. One of our favorite dudes. We love Coach Williams.
Mm-hmm.
He's always competitive over there. Again, undefeated in region play last year. Got upset by Donnie Webb's Franklin team there in the first round. Donnie Webb's Rebels. Well, I think they're the Admirals now, aren't they? I think they changed their mascot name, but Coach Webb stepped down.
They got a lot of ships over in Franklin.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't get that. I didn't get that either. But whatever. I don't get into all that stuff.
Yeah.
But, that was an unusual pick.
I
agree with you on that. But man, that team got really red hot there at the end of the year last year, and I think they may have caught some people by surprise. Talk about Smyrna's returning players.
Well, they got Jeremiah Bailey, Arian Carter, Landon Miller. He's a big kid. He's a big quarterback.
He's stud, yeah.
Well, he's big.
Yeah.
He's about 225.
Run over you on it.
Yeah. And then you got KJ Whitney Ray, Cameron Nurse is back, KJ Lewis, and then Elias Gardner. So Matt Williams got a good stable of athletes over there, and I fully expect him to contend in this region.
Laverne improved last year under Mike Woodward a lot, Lee. They have struggled for years, but I thought Mike Woodward come in, of course, former Antioch coach. I thought he come in and did a really good job with this squad, 5-6 overall, 4-2 in region play. Got knocked out by our buddy Scott Blade over at Independence in the first round, but talk to me about some of his kids.
He's got Ellington Anderson back, Malachi Irvin, Terrell Smith, Timothy Lyman Jr., and then Riley Hicks, Landon Stevens. Laverne's got tons of athletes, buddy.
Yeah, I think they're going to continue to get better.
I think so. I do too. I really do.
Another good coaching buddy of ours takes a new team. That's Coach Arcente Broom.
That's an interesting hire.
Yeah, I kind of think when we talked about this in our 5A show, Lee, I think had he not already spoken for that Overton job, he would have been an obvious pick for the Hillsboro opening with Coach Fitzgerald leaving. But that's a good thing for John Overton, man, because Arcente Broom, he's got it together. He's a really good coach. He'll make them better.
He will,
no doubt. But he hasn't got a lot coming back. Jalen Griggs, Yancey Jefferson, Lang. Lawrence, but not a lot of names coming back off of that 1-3 team. Again, it's another team that didn't get to play much because of the COVID stuff. So he's going to have his work cut out for him, I think, coming into this situation.
I agree. Yes.
McGavick, another Metro team, a very small sample of games for us to judge them on. 1-5, 1-4. Jay Gore is in his 11th season there, 51-66. McGavick, typical middle-of-the-road team. I think probably more of the same this year. Would you agree? Dixon County, Greg Burns 1-9 in his first year there at Dixon County. The Cougars only remaining Region 6 team. All the other teams came into Region 6, but Dixon County, the lone member of the old Region 6, which included all the Williamson County teams.
I'll be honest with you, Mike. I think Dixon County will make some noise in this region.
You think
I
so?
do, because Coach Burns, man, he came from Indy under Coach Blade.
Okay.
And you know what he's going to try to do.
Yeah.
He's going to get a
Sling it.
quarterback, and he's going to open this thing up. And you're just going to have to he's going to just try to outscore you. So I think they might make a little noise right here.
So you think Lamberth has a big year this year potentially?
I do.
Jesse Stewart at wide receiver, I think, is one of his main targets. And then they got a good running back at Schrader.
That's right.
Over 1,000 yards rushing. So if he can if he can become a threat on the ground and, like you say, open that passing game up, show a little balance there, they may be able to do something.
I definitely think they're going to be better than 1-9.
I do too. Antioch, the Bears, Ian Marshall, 1-16 in 2 years there at Antioch. Antioch's a program that struggled for a while. Lee, any movement for those guys?
Unfortunately, I don't see it, Mike. They just don't have funding and what they need over there. They got the kids.
Yeah.
They just don't get the support that they need, I don't think, from the community. But that's part of it. But I like Toosey's back. C.J. Johnson, Donovan Davis, Wills is back, and then Hernandez.
And Toosey was quarterback for 5 games as a
sophomore.
Freshman.
Yeah.
Coming in as a sophomore. So, maybe he can get them a couple of more wins. Yeah, get them a couple more wins this year.
Right.
All right, Lee, let's move on to Region 7. Region 7 is another.
It's a brutality region.
Yeah, it's really, really tough region here. You got 3 or 4 teams at the top.
Oh, my gosh, dude. This thing just got a whole lot more interesting, too, with Ravenwood's hire.
Yeah, sure did. You got Summit and Brentwood. Both of these teams were in the state title game last year.
That's correct.
Of course, Coach Coleman with the Wade twins, and we love the Wade twins, Destin and Keaton. And that's the main reason why I've got the Spartans at the top of here of this region is those 2 stud kids. I think they're going to Kentucky. I believe I saw.
That's right.
That was a great get for Kentucky. 14-1, 5-0 last year. Brian Coleman has done an amazing job. 61 and 26 overall. He's had 2 title game appearances in a row, winning again 28-7 over Oak Ridge last year. And we love Coleman. He's a dude. He's
great facility.
Good dude. Great facilities. Takes care of his field, and we love the field over there. But I mean, he's in a tough region, like you said.
Oh my gosh,
Lee.
man, this thing is crazy.
This is the old Williamson County region that was in Region 6. It's now the TSSAA fortunately moved it over to Region 7, which now we don't have a 4-team region in Region 8, which is awesome. I hated that. So I really like this. It's going to result in a not a lot of travel because the whole region is still right there in Williamson County.
There's going to be some battles every Friday night.
There's going to be some battles, man. There's going to be some slobber knockers. Ron Crawford's Brentwood team lost to Oakland there in the title game, as we mentioned, 11-4, 4-1. He lost his quarterback, Lee, but he's got some kids back.
He did. He lost several good. He lost House. He lost, what was it, wideout, Tennessee commit. And then he lost his QB. Yeah. So he's got to bring some experience to the table. But I tell you what, in that championship game, Davis White came in.
He did,
and I thought he played.
That's the one I was thinking about.
He played very well.
Yeah,
he come in. He threw the ball very well.
That's the quarterback I was thinking about.
And Brentwood's got plenty of athletes, plenty of support. They got Brock back, Davis White we just mentioned, Collins, Walton, Carter Patton, Fonticia, and then Beck back, and Kyler Green.
He came in that second half, Lee. And,
threw the ball well.
Yeah, threw the ball well and put some scores on the board. So yeah, they may be in contention. I mean, we got them there contending for that one spot. But Ravenwood, man, with our buddy Will Hester back in town, comes back from Alabama. Of course, he won a state title there at Ravenwood. 5 years ago, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Something like that, 5-6 years ago. They got a lot of talent back, led by Pollard at cornerback. That kid's a number 17, senior in the state, according to 247. Just an absolute stud. A lot of good athletes back for this Ravenwood team.
Yep, got a 4-star quarterback out of Texas too.
I think I heard something about that. I don't know his name. Do you?
I can't remember off
Can't
the top of my
remember either.
head, but he's supposed to be legit. So,
Isaac Rollins, Justin Smitherman, Lee Mollett,
hmm
uh, just on and on. Evans, Dudas,
yeah. So they've
Dudless.
got plenty of talent.
Yeah.
Um, and we know what Coach Hester can do. We know what he's made of. Uh,
And then you got Independence,
that's what
Lee.
I'm saying, man. This thing
Scott
is
Blade.
crazy.
Scott Blade, our guy, man. He's another coach.
hmm
This region right here has got, in addition to having great teams, awesome coaches, man, top to bottom, great coaches.
Yep.
These guys have won a lot of games. If you throw Scott Blade 142 and 50 overall, 70 and 30 and 8 years there at Indian, he's got some talent, Lee.
Oh yeah, Ty Lockwood, man. This kid, Silas throws to him sometimes at his quarterback school.
Yeah.
Ty's got hands like you wouldn't believe. As a big kid, good athlete. He's got Brady Jenkins, River Katina coming back as QB spot. Eli Anderson, Trey Hartwell's back. Blaylock. I mean, Indy's got a stacked house again. Brooks Sapone can sling it too, buddy. So I don't know, man. Indy might make a little noise right here.
They might. They might. That's what I say. I would want to pick this region. This region is wide open. Then you look at Franklin. They made that quarterfinal run last year after upsetting a couple of teams. They got Big Fisher Anderson back. He's a seventh-rated senior in 247. Just a phenomenal talent there at tackle. Bryce Sparks, Gavin Reed, Clay Crowder, Caleb Anderson. I assume that's, I don't know if he's related to Fisher or not, maybe not. Ashton Orton, they did lose a lot of seniors, but they got a lot of talent back.
Well, what's interesting about this hire for Franklin is you got Summit moves over into this region, and then they hired the DC from Summit.
Alex Melton, I forgot to mention that, Lee. Thank you. Yeah.
So that throws an interesting dynamic into that Franklin Summit
Yeah.
matchup.
I was throwing some names out to Brian Coleman to replace his defense coordinator. You know who one of them I threw out there?
Hackett.
Yep. I think I mentioned that in the 2A show. He didn't have any interest in it. He would have been a good one, though. Centennial, the Cougars, Matt Kreisky's squad, 2-7, 1-4. Coach Kreisky, man, he's a great coach. Has had a lot of success.
Yes.
40 and 36 overall, but man, they've just kind of been they've been kind of like I guess some of the Rutherford County teams. They're in that tough region. It's hard to penetrate that top 2 or 3 in that region.
Well, where he's at over there too, where he's located in Centennial,
Yeah.
it's kind of central to all those other schools. So those kids are kind of pulled all
away from him.
away from him.
Yeah. Brendan Jones returns at quarterback, 4C at running back. Plowman listed as another quarterback senior. Scruggs at defensive end. A lot of kids back. Lee, I don't know if it just doesn't appear like there's anywhere to go upward in this region.
No.
He's just got to have something happen, for him to break into that
agree.
top 4.
I agree.
Region 8, Lee, and I'm glad to see changes in this region here because you know me, I absolutely hate a 4-team region. So I was tickled to death to see that TSSAA had made such massive moves in 6A. Memphis Central is gone from Region 8, but they added Houston, Bartlett, Collierville, Cordova, and Arlington. They kind of combined the old 7 and 8 regions.
Yes,
what
they should have.
Went from 4 teams to 8 teams. And maybe a little bit more travel for these teams. But man, that beats the heck out of having a 4-team region.
Well, even with Arlington and all those additions, they're one county over.
Yeah.
You're not going far.
6A school, it shouldn't be that big a deal.
Right.
But we like Rodney Salisbury, as we do every year, to take this Region 8 more of the same. He's got some talent, doesn't he, Lee?
Man, he just always does, and we didn't get to see it showcased last year. I hate that for Coach Salisbury.
Me too.
They
hated it. I talked to him.
Because I'm gonna tell you something, man. Year in and year out, Coach Salisbury probably signs as many or more kids than anybody else.
Absolutely.
One year we talked to him, he had 21 signees on the team.
It's crazy, isn't it? For a high school team.
That's pretty doggone good at all levels,
Yeah.
But yes, he's got a big tackle down there. Alou Ba, who is 332 pounds, 6'5".
Wow.
Yep. And then he's got Darius Bodie, which if you remember a couple years back, those Bodie, he was really good as a sophomore.
Right.
Uh, Tristan Taylor, Javion Franklin, Jacquez Bradley, and McCall Stewart. So he's
He's gonna
loaded
put some more.
again.
He's gonna put some more kids playing on Saturday.
Yes, sir.
We liked, I think Lee at the 2 spot. We liked the Houston Mustangs, 5-6, 2-2. They were probably, let's see, let me look. Now there's about 4 teams that got to play last year, but a lot of the Region 7 teams did get to play. Region 8 did not. Houston, one of those that got to play. They lost to Bartlett in overtime, 35-27. They got Will Stiegel back at cornerback, Ben Stiegel at running back. I'm assuming those are brothers. Cooper Lomax, Jalen. What is that, Lee?
Moment.
Momon. I didn't know exactly how you pronounce that.
Yeah.
So
And
anyway,
then Shabazz, 30 rated senior and 247 at wide receiver.
Wide receiver. Yeah,
Yep.
he's back as well. So we like Houston contending with maybe White Station. Reed Yarborough 7-5 in his first year at White Station. Obviously, he's one of the teams that didn't get to play last year. He's got Ragland back at quarterback as a junior. He's got offers from Auburn, Tennessee, and then Dante Gallard back at tackle. Lost a lot of seniors, but there's a lot of talent on this Spartan squad.
That's right. I like this next squad.
Bartlett,
I like Bartlett. I think Bartlett's going to contend. I think they're contending for the 2-3. This is me thinking.
Yeah, I think so.
They took Brentwood in the semifinals and played them tough.
Yeah, they did.
One thing I like about them is they got a senior quarterback in Matthews coming in, and then
yeah, we probably should have had them at the 2 spot, Lee. I don't know why I didn't have them listed at 2.
Yeah, I like them competing for the 2 or the 3.
Yeah. They've got, like you said, William Matthews takes over for Walt Tucker.
They got Anderson, Moore, Cox. I got a bunch of kids coming back off an 8-2 team that was 4-0 in the region and took Brentwood to within 10 in the semis.
Exactly. Definitely worthy of the mention.
Yep.
Collierville 5-4, 3-1. Joe Riccone, he's 86-108 overall. 10-10 in his 2 years there at Collierville. The Dragons, again, they got knocked out in the quarterfinals. What's your thoughts on them, Lee?
I don't know, man. You take Germantown coming in. That's always a tough squad. I don't know, man. I don't know if Collierville's got anywhere to get into the top 4. Do you?
No, I mean, I don't have a clue. There's so many teams that didn't get to play last year. I just don't know.
Well, traditionally, Germantown and Arlington are tough squads.
Yeah. You got Cody Jones, number 6 rated senior, coming back for Germantown. And I like Gene Robertson.
Did a good job at Fairleigh.
I think I would have liked to see what he was going to do last year.
Well, he's a
Coach
Salisbury protege.
Yep. Absolutely. Yep. So he's got a good coaching pedigree.
Yes.
He's got a 27-9 record as a head coach. So don't count Germantown out. That's coming in there for Chris Smith. I think that was a real good hire, no doubt.
Yep. Cody Jones, a number 6 rated senior down there, and then Taryn Tabor, Miles Salisbury. So he's got talent too.
Yeah. Yep. They'll be in the mix, no doubt. Cordova, you mentioned them. Marcus Wimberly. This is another coach has had a lot of success. 92-68 overall. He's 11-11 in 2 years at Cordova. He was at was it Memphis East? Is that where he came from?
I can't remember.
I can't remember. I know he's had a lot of success. Clarence Johnson, Jeremiah Jordan, Dre Collins, Jackson Hobbs. A lot of kids on this Cordova team that didn't get to play last year, chomping at the bit.
That's right.
Arlington 5-6, 1-3. They did get to play last year, Lee. John Davis is the headliner, I guess, for them coming back for senior year. Blake Dexter at wide receiver. Mason Mullins at linebacker. Carter Woods. Mario Wilson. Landon Seward. They may be in it too.
Well, got a new coach too, so.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're exactly right. Vic Shivers takes over. He was a linebacker coach at Hernando,
Mississippi. Yep.
He was a former head coach here at Fayette Academy.
That's right.
So, yeah, man, it's Region 8. I don't really know how to pick yet, Lee. There's so many teams that didn't play last year. I do like Whitehaven to win it.
I like Bartlett.
I think Bartlett. I think Germantown.
Mm-hmm.
I think Houston. There's a lot of teams that could take those last 3 spots.
Right.
All right, brother. I believe that's going to wrap it up for our Class 6A show. Again, we appreciate you guys tuning in to all these shows. Any of you guys that were able to watch all 6, hats off to you. If you put up with me and Lee for
That's
6
exactly
hours,
right.
that's pretty deadgum impressive. But we enjoy doing this, man. We'll be here every Thursday night at 6 p.m. That's the plan right now anyway. Following up on what we did last year, we'll have coaches interviews with coaches all across the state. Anybody that follows the show knows that. We cover East, West, Middle, and we cover all classes, 1A through 6A. And second hour of the show, Lee, we'll talk about the big games on tap for Friday night and make our picks. It's always fun, man, the live chat. We absolutely love you guys participating in that. So we'll have that up again this year. So, Lee, I guess this is going to do it, brother.
Who you liking? 6A.
6A. I like Oakland, and
West side's going to be a little rough.
I may have to go with Summit to get back. I like them Wade boys. I think that side's going to be tough, man. You don't know what Whitehaven's going to do after a 2-year layoff. Brentwood's going to be tough.
A lot of tough teams.
But, I mean, I just got to go with a team that's been there 2 years in a row with the senior twins back. I think I'd put them as odds-on favorite to face Oakland this year. What do you think about that?
I understand why.
You understand the logic anyway?
Yeah, yes, sir.
All right. Lee, you got anything else?
No, sir.
Well, again, we appreciate it, guys. Again, I'm Mike Molder. He's Lee Teat. Follow us on Twitter at Tennessee Sports. We're on Facebook, Friday Main Event on Facebook. Follow us on your social media. And please, if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. So really the only thing Lee and I ask you guys to do in return for us doing all this is to hit the subscribe button, become a subscriber. And I think that's it, fellas. We will probably be back at you. We may do a pre-season show. We hadn't determined that yet. But, again, just keep an eye on social media, and we'll let you guys know when we'll be on next. Signing off, Mike Molder, Lee Teat. We'll see you guys in the fall.